if you don't remember, this is Damon Davis. Okay, I've known this guy for a very, very long time. Very long time. He gave 25 years of service here at the school before he retired. Ended up climbing the chain and being one of our superintendents before he retired. This guy he coached me when I was in high school. He was part of the staff whenever I was in high school. His dad is a great kennel trainer. Okay? So he's got a lot of insight. He's got a lot of tradition. He's been around here a long time. He understands when it started. He's going to give you a message today, and I think it's awesome. I think it's a great deal, so make sure you pay attention today, and we're definitely going to get something out of this.
Okay, gentlemen, I can't tell you how proud I am to stand in front of you today. I appreciate Coach Boxley giving me a call and giving me an opportunity to speak. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself before I get into a speech. I graduated here in 1982. I spent 12 years in this school district before I graduated. Okay? In 1988, I returned to Wills Point ISD to coach. I had a great opportunity to coach with my father. And like Coach Boxley said, my father was Ken Autry Davis. My first year to coach was Coach Boxley's senior year. We had an outstanding year, an exemplary year. We went to the quarterfinals. We had an excellent year. But I want you to know that in 1988, I started my career here. In 2019, I retired. Started as a teacher coach, moved into a campus administrator, and then I retired from the central office. But today, I want to talk about tradition. We have a rich tradition in Tiger football here. Rich tradition. Like James stated, my father is Ken Autry Davis, who started his career here in the early 60s. Okay? He started his career here in 1962. He became head coach in 1964. And he retired 30 years later from Wills Point ISD. My father and I put in 55 years in this district. He was proud to do it, and I'm proud to do it. We're proud to be a part of this school district. We're proud to be a part of this community, and we're proud to be a part of this program. So you know now that my daddy started coaching here in 1962, but let me tell you a little tidbit about this. My dad also graduated from Wills Point ISD. My dad was an outstanding football player at Wills Point High School back in the late 50s. In fact, he was an excellent running back. He was named All-State running back and was selected by Stephen F. Austin State University to come to their school on a football scholarship, where he started at tailback for, I believe, 3 years. A long history with my family being in this community, being in this school district, and especially being tied to Wills Point football. So let's talk a little bit about tradition, gentlemen. What is tradition? We're going to talk about tradition. You need to know what tradition is. Let's see what it's defined as. Tradition is defined as the handing down of statements, beliefs, legends, customs, and information from generations, especially by word of mouth or by practice. So what I'm trying to say, when a tradition is started, something significant had to happen. Something had to happen that's so embedded in the program, in the community, that it continues for decades, 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 and generations. Not just a few years. Many, many years. And gentlemen, there was something that happened many, many decades ago that put Tiger football on the map. That started this tradition. Okay? And now I'm going to show you something in just a few minutes that's sat in my father's cedar chest for decades. You're going to be the first group of young men to see this. Maybe 30, maybe 40, maybe 45 years. I honestly don't know, but it's been decades. Okay? What was significant? It happened in the 60s. It happened in 1965. Coach Foxley said we have a few captains in here today. Where are they? Why don't you stand up here for me, please? I was going through the cedar chest at home, kind of reminiscing, looking at a lot of stuff that my father kept throughout his career. And I came across this, guys, and I can't recall seeing it. I was 2 years old when my father won his state championship. I don't recall seeing this, but I was a young man. But I know as an adult, I don't recall it. So I said, for a tradition to happen, something significant had to happen. So what happened in 1965? Gentlemen, this is what happened. Let's roll this out and hold it up where the guys can see it and kind of walk around, guys. 1965, Wills Point ISD won the state championship in football. Gentlemen, you're the first group of guys to see that in decades. I wanted to share it with you today, because you need to know when the tradition began. It just doesn't happen. It happens for a reason. 1965, the tradition began. And you know what? That tradition has continued. Continued in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. I wanted you to see that today. I feel it's important that if we're going to talk to you about tradition, you need to know where it started. You need to see something. You need to know where it began. You're part of a special group, guys. You're part of a special group. Remember that. We've been talking about tradition. I want you to remember what tradition means. So I'm going to read this definition again. Tradition. The handing down of statements, beliefs, legends, customs, and information from generation to generation, especially by word of mouth or by practice. Guys, I'm going to share another tradition with you. I'm going to tell you how it began. This one began in the 70s. The tradition in football began in the 60s. If you've been in this community long, if you've been around Tiger football long, you're going to know what these 4 letters are. OTSS. stands for only the strong survive. And I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. But first of all, you need to know when it started, where it started, how it started. It started with my father in the 1970s. Gentlemen, I'm going to read you something today. And what I want you to know, I didn't write this. I didn't write this. I had my father write down the history of ice when I noticed that his health was failing. I wanted to know the history so I could pass it on. So we'd know when and where it started. So remember, Damon Davis didn't write this. Ken Autry Davis wrote this. But I want to share it with you today. And I've shared it before, and some of you may hear it. But traditions, you need to hear it again, again, and again. All right, boys. A message from Coach Ken Autry Davis. In his words, this is how Ox was born. In 1970, the Tigers had gone undefeated in the regular season. We had to play Mansfield in by-district, the #1 team in the state in 3A. And we won. The next team, Linden Kildare in Lobo Stadium in Longview. That was the next team to play. It was a hot, sultry night. And when we got off the bus to go to the dressing room, the team was wringing with sweat. As we walked down the hall, I saw a sign that had big letters on both sides that said, "Only the strong survive." I turned to my team and said, "That will be true tonight." The game was a knockdown drag-out, and my Tigers won 25-23. The next morning at the field house, that term kept running through my mind. I said to myself, how do I make it shorter? And from my mind came OTSS, loud and clear. One of my coaches asked, "What does that spell?" I said, "Ox, ox." Every true Tiger knows that OTSS stands for only the strong survive. When did it start? In 1974. You remember? I said something significant has to happen for it to become a tradition. That night at Lobo Stadium, he knew that he was in a knockdown drag-out. He knew that he was in a fight. He knew that in order to win that football game, we were going to have to play hard, be tough, play strong, come through into tough times. Only the strong survive. OTSS. Gentlemen, we've talked about tradition. We've talked about tradition in football, and we've talked about tradition of ice. You know when football started. You know when ice started. But you know what's special? And you know what's exciting? Is that tonight, that tradition continues. It continues tonight with the Wills Point Tigers playing in a playoff game. You be proud of what you've done. And I want you to know I'm proud of what you've done. I want you to know this community is proud of what you've done. You know what you've done? You've earned the right to go up there. Nobody gave that spot to you. You had to go out there on Friday night and earn it. And gentlemen, you did that. And you be proud of it. You've proven that this tradition is still alive through your hard work, working through adversity, and earning the right to play tonight. And now what you need to realize, and what is special, you're part of that tradition now. So tonight, when we go out there and we play tonight, you uphold that tradition. Tonight's going to be tough, guys. You don't win in advance without playing hard, working through adversity. There's going to be a time in this game when it's going to be tough, but when we're going to have to win the battle. You remember those 4 letters, OTSS. Only the strong survive. Guys, I'm going to finish with a challenge. I'm going to finish by challenging you. Told you I was a former player. I may have not told you that, but I played in the late 70s, early 80s. Also coached, told you that. Started coaching when Coach Boxley was a senior here at Wills Point. And I'm going to challenge you tonight, guys. And this is my challenge to you. Everybody knows that football is a team game. It's a team game, and it takes a team to win. But I also know that within the game, there's individual battles that go on each play. It may be with the center and the nose guard. It may be with the wide receiver and the DB, defensive back. But there's individual battles going on each play. Tonight, you're going to line up, and there's going to be a man in front of you. I want you to stand there. I want you to look them in the eye. And I want you to let them know that they're in a battle for the ages. I challenge you to win your battle each and every play. If you win your battle each and every play, that play is going to be successful. That play is going to be successful. So, gentlemen, when that ball snapped, you go hard. You go hard every play. You win that battle every play. If you win that battle every play for 4 quarters, you're not only going to win the battle, you're going to win the game. Gentlemen, I'm so looking forward to you playing tonight. I'm going to be your biggest fan. You go out there tonight, you play with Tiger Pride. Every play, you give everything you can to help your teammate and your team to be successful. Let's go give them that, guys. Appreciate it, Coach.
Okay, thanks, Damon, for being here. That's a great message. It gives you a little bit about what we've been talking about a little bit, and kind of, without you guys that's been here, tradition has slipped away the last few years. Am I right? Okay, so and we're back to it. We're getting there, but it's important you understand the history, and you're making it. You're making it. And another piece of the history is go out and grab that game tonight. Okay? So we're gonna break from here, we're gonna go to the cafeteria, I'm not sure if we're set up or not, but, we'll be ready to go there quickly. Okay? And then we'll talk about, we'll break together out there, before we break and before we leave, and so y'all know what time to be back. Everybody good? Yes, sir. All right, let's get that another one. Okay, here we go, same thing, let's gather in there, here we go, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.